New Avengers. Oh, now? No.
Yeah.
Like the New Avengers now?
I don't know, just like the ones that people don't really care about.
New Avengers now, as in like the second. New Avengers now is like the Young Avengers. They just don't call it Young Avengers.
Okay.
But it's the Young Avengers.
All right.
For all intensive purposes.
Wait, how did you say that?
You know what I said. I said that because I said what I said. Anyway.
All right. Do you not want to get into a grammatical debate?
It's not why we're here. Why are we here?
Why are we here, Justin?
Why are we here? To get through this thing called Civil War.
Rest in
You
peace,
thought I was
Prince.
gonna say something else.
Yes. Your first initial reaction for Civil War?
Liked it?
Question mark?
No.
Well, you said it with inflection, so...
Minor quibbles. I only had minor quibbles.
Which, honestly, for you, is not that big of a deal.
No.
Okay.
It's like, it's nitpicky stuff because I'm familiar with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I really had to say about it.
All right.
But largely, I liked it. Wasn't the best Marvel movie, but I would put it in the, sort of short list.
Like top 3? Or do we have to go top 5?
It's at least top 5. It might crack top 3.
All right. So off the top of your head, what's your top 5 favorite Marvel movies?
Winter Soldier is the best one.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my favorite. Guardians is probably the most fun. Might be my most favorite.
Okay.
I'm still pretty partial to the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, and that kind of kicked everything off too.
Right. I mean, it's easily, it's better than Iron Man 2. I'd say it's better than Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Hulk, that's out. Thor, they're okay. Ultron, didn't care for.
What about the first Avengers movie?
It's all right. That's like flirting with 4 or 5.
Okay. Would you rank Civil War above the first Avengers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. A resounding yes. All right. I enjoyed the film too. I just saw it the other night. It was.
Did you see it at the movie tavern?
I did not.
Oh.
I did not go to the movie tavern.
Waiter.
I looked up let's see, when was that? Friday, I was off work, so I was going to go in the afternoon because it was raining, and I was like, well, what else is there to do? But then I went online and saw that the time I wanted to go to was completely booked except for 2 seats in the front row to the far left. And
That's not optimal.
Yeah, I decided I wasn't too interested in. I was like, what are people doing at 2:00 on a Friday? Shouldn't they be working?
That is weird.
I know, but so no, I did not go to the local movie tavern.
I can just see you rolling up. It's like 2. You didn't buy your tickets. You get there and it's a full line. You just walk up. It's like F.
Well, and I'm glad that I looked online first just to see, and yeah, it was not good seating arrangements. So
Not how you want to see Civil War.
no, not at all. But I did end up seeing it. I did like it for the most part.
Most part.
Yeah, I liked it better than Ultron, which we
Wow.
both can agree on, and it's
That's
not really
a low bar to clear.
Well, yeah, but I definitely. I mean, I'm with you. I like Winter Soldier. I think it's the best one. Iron Man's up there for me. Thor. I wasn't really too big a fan of the Thor movies, either of them. I don't know. It didn't grasp me, but. I like the first Avengers movie. That would be in my top 5 Marvel for sure. And obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. Like you said, that's probably the most fun one.
Yeah.
Which makes it more entertaining and easier to
Ant-Man.
watch.
I forgot to put Ant-Man. Well, Ant-Man was all right.
Would you put Ant-Man in the top 5?
If it's not in the top 5, it's just I'd say it's like on the outside
It's
looking in.
5A or 5B.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Ant-Man's the kind of movie that you go on Movie Tavern's website and you see that the only 2 seats left are the bottom left, and you're like, not top 5.
All right.
Not top 5.
What are your thoughts on Paul Rudd as Ant-Man? As a superhero in general?
See, here's the thing. I hear everybody seemed to enjoy him. I thought in this movie, it was like Paul Rudd doing an impression of Paul Rudd. Like, it almost got too much. It got cloyingly Paul Rudd.
They did let him be himself.
But it almost seemed like he amped it up a little bit. Like, there were some good one-liners when he first meets Captain America. He's like, "Oh, this is Captain America. I'm shaking your hand for way too long." And then
yeah, he fanboys out.
Is it like during the battle he says, "Here you go. Here's your shield, Captain America."
Yeah,
and that was funny. But then there were parts where it's just like you're too Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd.
Well, did you feel that way in Ant-Man or just for Civil War?
Sort of.
Okay.
I feel like they dialed it up to 11 for Civil War.
See, I'm like most people. I'm a Paul Rudd fan. I like his movie.
Love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's great. And when they first announced him to be in the Marvel universe as a superhero, I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work, but let's give it a shot and see. And granted, Ant-Man's not regularly discussed as one of the best Marvel movies, but for what it was certainly enjoyable.
Right.
And I mean, you have Paul Rudd. He's obviously got the comedy background, so obviously they let that into the film. It wasn't all serious all the time. So I was kind of like glad. And it was a little change of pace from, the dark, less comical Marvel movies.
Dark, filmed at night.
Like literally dark.
Literally, it's dark. It's after sunset.
All right, so let's get back to Civil War here. What's your first quibble with the film?
We're here to talk about. So here's minor quibble. I'm going to say they're all minor quibble. I didn't have any major quibbles.
Okay.
Is there like a word for minor like quibbolette?
Quibbolette.
Whatever. Marvel has a problem with their villains. Almost all their villains kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, especially being somebody who is aware of Captain America, they took two of his major villains and just kind of swept them under the rug. Like, oh, it's Crossbones. He's dead in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you get another big one, Baron Zemo, and he's a villain, but he's not quite a villain.
He's just kind of like a guy.
Yeah, he's a puppet master.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of the villains in this. I was expecting more Crossbones just based on,
the hype that he got?
Right, leading up to the film.
Yeah.
And Baron Zemo, I was expecting more too, but he was literally just a father and husband whose family was killed in Sokovia in Ultron and spent the past year somehow manufacturing this giant conspiracy to bring Stark and Steve Rogers against each other.
Right. I mean, I understand his logic. He says, I can't go toe-to-toe with the super soldier and, the greatest living weapon. So, F that. I'm just going to make you guys fight each other. I get that. It's just that Baron Zemo is such a big part of the Captain America mythos. You just can't relegate him to, a puppet master. He's got to be doing something. Plus, he's in the new Thunderbolts. You just laid the groundwork for Baron Zemo to come back in the comic books, and now it's like, puppet master. No Purple Hood, by the way.
I mean, granted, Civil War, the main focus obviously is Iron Man versus Captain America, but even with that, Zemo thrown in as a villain, I kind of expected more.
Right.
That's a quibble. That's a quiblet for me as well.
It's a quiblet. Yeah, it's. I mean, like Marvel has villains, but they're not like well fleshed out. They don't seem to have the gravitas.
Well, we have okay, so Crossbones in Civil War, he was one of the soldiers in Winter Soldier, right?
Right.
One of the guys trying to bring Captain America down. But how does he become Crossbones?
Yeah.
I mean, not that's. I mean, it would be kind of nice to. Okay, so you make the connection that, once the mask is off, you realize, oh, it's this guy from this movie. And somehow over the past, 2 years or however long it was, he became this mega huge criminal named Crossbones.
Right. I mean, the story's simple enough, especially in the way he acts. He's out for vengeance against Captain America because he burned his face. And now he has to wear this mask. Raw match. So it's basic enough, but in the same sense, it's like it's Crossbones. You have this, villain who has real motivation and has weapons and he can fight and go toe to toe with these Avengers, and then now he's dead.
Yep, and that's it.
And that's it.
By
no more crossbows.
Yeah, by basically killing himself.
Pretty much.
He was trying to go kamikaze. What did you think of that being the starting point for the Registration Act?
That's fine. I mean, in the comics, it's the C-list New Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that.
Right.
So you've got. I mean, I always thought, at least with the trailers, it was going to be something that Bucky did, because it's always, oh no, Bucky, you're a bad dude. You did this. So I thought it was going to be Bucky's brainwashed and blows up a building or something, and then everyone's mad. But this is fine.
Which they sort of led to believe happened for a brief period, but that was after the initial cause that started this whole Registration Act.
Right, after the groundwork's been laid. But
Yeah.
I mean, with Scarlet Witch being the one behind it, I mean, that's nice in the sense that it sets up kind of her trajectory with Vision.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know why they're doing. I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go with her. They can't do like House of M, where she completely loses her shit and gets rid of all the mutants. Well,
Yeah.
there are no mutants. They're Inhumans. That's quibbling on quibbling.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, that was fine. You got to have something that kicks it off.
Right, and I mean, and like you said, in the comics, it was completely different. There's obviously way more here, characters in the comics that are causing a ruckus. But I was okay with that too. I was okay with that being kind of the jumping off point. Like, we're using Scarlet Witch. They're out going after this villain, this Crossbones character, and then what was it? A few people die, or a bunch of people die in that building, and that kid's mom meets up with Tony Stark and kind of puts the guilt trip on him.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar setup. Somebody, a bunch of people die because of superheroes, and they need to be put in check, basically.
Right. I mean, basically the story that we've been telling in all the superhero movies. Some get it better than others. Some, neither here nor there.
All right. So what's another quibble that you had with the film?
Minor quibble. I just lost my train of thought. What was my minor quibble?
Was it anything with Spider-Man? What'd you think of Spider-Man?
It was the best Spider-Man. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Come on.
What's wrong with that?
I don't picture Aunt May as like some hot 40s. I mean, she's got the
Why
age,
not?
but I don't know. It's just weird.
Okay, but to be fair, this Spider-Man is way younger than the other Spider-Mans in the movies.
That's fine. Oh, I did find it kind of weird that he makes the joke about Empire Strikes Back, but he's like, you guys know that really old movie that nobody's ever seen?
Yeah.
Like some underground flick called, I don't know, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
It's an indie flick from like the 80s. You'll never heard of it. That was a little weird.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I enjoyed him. I think he's going to be a fun Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, they pick... I think they have the tone right. And of all the Spider-Men, whatever, Spider people, this is the best one that they have on film so far. It's the truest to the character. And now I can't wait for that
Right.
horribly titled Spider-Man solo movie.
Homecoming?
I guess.
It
It just sounds weird.
Did you... Now, since the other two Spider-Men have been seen in theaters with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, did you like either of them?
Parts of them.
Okay.
I mean, the Andrew Garfield ones, I felt like the chemistry was there with him and Emma Stone, but I just thought the villains were kind of terrible.
Yeah. Well, and in the comics too, Spider-Man is a high school student, right?
Right. I mean, they actually picked
Right.
a high school student, not Tobey Maguire, who tries to pretend like he's 18.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
old.
yeah. I mean, but you think about it, though, like when those Spider-Man movies first came out, I mean, we enjoyed them at the time.
Well, it's
I mean,
all we had.
maybe
Now
not
we've
not the
been-
third one, but
Now the wool has been pulled from
right.
over our eyes, and now we know what a real superhero movie is like. We don't have to refer to like Blade
Yeah.
or the first Punisher
Exactly.
or even the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Were you hoping for more Spider-Man in the film, or was the airport scene enough for you?
It was good enough. It was
Okay.
good enough. I mean, I was worried that the trailer was going to blow everything because that seems to be in the zeitgeist now that you put all the cool crap in the trailer. But they really didn't do. I mean, that's like the anti-quibble. It's like the Monitor and the anti-Monitor. What? Wrong comic universe. There were things in the trailer that sort of whet the appetite.
Right.
But there was so much more in the movie
Yeah.
that wasn't left covered, which was awesome. Like all the Spider-Man stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's like enough to show you he's there. And even when I saw the clip with Spider-Man, I thought, "Oh, great, they ruined it." But there's still plenty left.
Yeah. Like when he's pretending to be a not TIE fighter.
Snowspeeder.
Speeder. That's it. Wrapping his weapon around the legs of giant Ant-Man.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The whole giant man thing. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that too. I didn't know what to expect when Ant-Man was making comments about like, "Oh, I've only tried this in a lab once, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, he's Giant Man now."
Well, I kind of figured that out when it's like he's not going to get small because that can only go so far, and that's kind of boring, especially in this
Well, I don't know.
large-scale fight.
The Ant-Man movie, he got pretty small repeatedly towards the end.
But I mean that was sort of the
Particle-wise.
functions that he had to serve. But here
Right.
there's a dozen people fighting in one desolate airport.
Which I think it's interesting too, because in the book you'll remember there was Goliath.
Right. Well, I
Which-
mean, Hank Pym has a sordid publication history of which it just so happens that at the time that Civil War was published, he was not the current moniker of Giant Man. Mm-hmm. Well, I think he was Yellow Jacket at the time.
Yeah.
Hank Pym's a weird dude.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Ant-Man getting giant was kind of like a throw towards the comics or what, just to have that kind of feel in there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
Well, but that might sow the seeds for the next Ant-Man thing, because in the first one, him getting super small was like him going on some weird acid trip. So maybe him getting big is
And
going to mess with him or something.
and continuously get bigger
Right.
until he holds the universe in his hand.
He just gets bigger than Thanos and he just flicks him.
Yeah.
Pew! Infinity War. Not so infinity.
Infinity flick.
Finite.
Finite.
But the one thing I did like, especially with all those fight scenes, is that in this one, you really got a sense of the teamwork aspect. And even, the first whole act of the movie, I completely forgot this wasn't an Avengers movie. It was,
Right.
Specifically a Captain America movie, even though they had so many of the actual Avengers.
Right.
But all the fighting scenes, like even the first fighting scene, the airport one, and then the final one, you get a good sense of the choreography or the sort of the whole dance of the fighting. They all helped each other out. They worked in tandem, and especially you still, to their credit, they did it in Winter Soldier. You get a good sense of who is where at what time.
Yeah.
While they're fighting. Nothing seems jarring.
Right. No, I agree. I thought the fight scenes were really good in this film. I enjoyed them a lot. Normally with fight scenes, you just kind of like get to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, they're fighting. Let's go now. But this was actually, pretty entertaining. And there was, like you said, there's enough characters, especially when you have like Black Widow fighting Hawkeye, they were once partners, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, are we still friends? You have this little stuff like that thrown in. Then obviously, Spider-Man's quips and funny little witty remarks are always enjoyable as well.
Oh, I remember my next quibble. What was up with the frame rate during the fights? That felt weird. Like, you know what it made me think of? It made me think of Team America, because that's where they did that weird frame rate thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't recall
notice?
that. No, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye out for it next time.
It's minor quibble. It's just that, like, they changed it to like a real flickery frame rate when they were doing the fights.
Was it to make it everything look faster?
I have no idea.
All right.
More educated people than I are going to have to answer that in terms of why they do that for cinematography.
Yeah.
But you're right with the fighting. I mean, usually we get to these big, long fights, like movies like Transformers, where it's like, holy hell, just get it over with.
Yeah.
But this one, it was. I mean, I was even entertained. I don't really care for a lot of long action scenes, but even that for the first one was really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of the fighting scenes, what's your take on the Black Panther, the movie Black Panther?
In this movie, he was awesome.
Yeah. Would you say he stole the show?
Stole the show. He was up there.
I mean, he was in it enough that he was kind of a major part of it. I mean, like you have Spider-Man and Ant-Man that are in for the fight scene, and that's kind of it.
Right.
Panther was involved kind of throughout for the most part.
Right. You get an idea of what Black Panther and T'Challa mean to this, this universe and and all the things that happen. He loses his father. He goes after Bucky. So on and so forth. You get a good sense of what his character is like. He's not just sort of this guy that's one note or out for vengeance or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like you get a real idea of sort of what the crux of Black Panther is, which is nice because that sets up the movie. So you're super excited to go see Black Panther the movie when it comes out
2 years from now.
That's fun. I mean, I'm sure he'll show up somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, whatever's in between now and then. But he was awesome.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. I thought Chadwick Boseman did a really good job, and I'm glad. Like I said, he was in the movie enough where he was like, this guy's awesome, but he didn't. It wasn't overkill on Black Panther,
right.
which I liked. It kept the focus mostly on Stark and Captain America.
Captain Steve Rogers. Captain
America Rogers.
U.S. agent. Nomad. Steve Rogers. I thought I had another minor quibble. I don't remember. So my my sort of plot quibble is, did you get the sense that somebody was going to die?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
So here's the thing that they keep doing in these. They do a couple of things. Their go-to moves in these newer Marvel movies that I've noticed. Mm-hmm. There's always a red herring. Sometimes it's the villains, i.e. Iron Man 3, the Mandarin, which I like.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about that. But then they do it here with Baron Zemo. Is there another red herring?
I mean,
I don't remember. I'm getting...
Maybe Crossbones?
Well, I mean, sort of. But it's they do a lot of misdirection. And it's almost like they're getting too comfortable with the misdirection. So we're sort of losing faith with what they're showing us. I mean, one of my trusted principles in storytelling is called Chekhov's gun, which is essentially whatever you're showing the audience should be of importance. So in this movie, for example, I should have keyed into, but I don't know why I didn't. The scene in the beginning where we see Weird Science, Robert Downey talking to Roger Sterling and his mom. You should have known that his parents were going to play a pivotal point in the plot. And I didn't key into that because, I'm an idiot. No, I had too much popcorn. Too much popcorn and a chili dilly. Oh, which, by the way...
What is a chili dilly?
I'm going way too off in these tangents. Apparently, chili dilly is a traditional drive-in snack. I saw this movie at the drive-in. It's just a giant pickle. I thought it was... Was it like in some sort of special pickle seasonings or some sort of brine or something? No, it's just a giant pickle.
So it wasn't even like a fried pickle.
No, it's just a pickle. And I don't know. It's like, you know what I want when I go to the movies? A pickle. No, nobody ever says that. It's like you have pizza, you have popcorn, you have candy, you have soda, you have
slushies.
Not a pickle.
Yeah.
Pickle is not in the top 5. Pickle is not even on the outside looking. Pickle is not even invited. No Facebook invite, nothing. I mean, I get it. It's just... It's a weird choice. Weird choice.
That's a movie theater quibble.
Yeah, it's a movie theater quibble. Anyway, support your local drive-ins.
Yes.
Anyway, so, oh God, I went on too many tangents. Chili dilly, back to the parents, back to people dying. Yes, and then they did the thing where Tony Stark kept saying his arm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you bring that up? It just felt weird. Like, I thought that was going to be the payoff.
Yeah.
Which would have been fine because we're at the point where we've got 3 Iron Man movies, which I feel like is enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Downey, it's like they're going to get to the point where they sort of need to start killing these characters off, because it's just like you have to A, up the stakes, and B, Chris Evans is probably tired of being Captain America.
You know what? Quick tangent on that. I think I'm tired of Chris Evans being Captain America.
Why?
I
Just didn't feel it.
I mean, I know he's playing like the do-gooder, the always do the right thing kind of guy, righteous man, but I don't know. Chris Evans, I'm starting to not buy it as much anymore.
He's more of a Johnny Storm type of guy anyway.
Right.
What?
Oh, from that time where he was one Marvel character and then became another Marvel character, and it was like, oh, no big deal.
No, he was traded for cash consideration.
Yeah.
He was traded for a bat bag. Dinner out.
All right. But no, I get your point. Like, at some point, you know, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans are going to move on from the Marvel Universe, which, at least with Captain America in the comics, it gets passed on to, should I ruin it? Is it kind of...
No, it's a book that's been published for like 10 years.
In the comics, the shield of Captain America gets passed on to Sam Wilson.
Whoa.
Almost said Sam Falcon.
Well, I mean, that's now, but I mean, before it was passed on to... I
don't know who it was passed on to.
Bucky.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Bucky takes it up after... Well, Captain America dies in the comic books after Civil War. The book's been published for over 10 years. If you don't know, that's your own fault. Cap dies. Bucky takes up the shield. Then Bucky dies, and Steve Rogers takes up the shield. And then Steve Rogers turns into an old dude. And then Sam takes up the shield.
Steve Rogers different from the other Steve Rogers?
No, same Steve Rogers. It's comic book foofery, trust me. And then Steve Rogers turns back into young Steve Rogers, and now we have two Captain Americas, Captains America, right?
Captai Americans.
That's good enough.
But yeah, either way, Marvel has that road to go down if they want to. Either with Bucky, because, you know, right now he's just like, I'm going to freeze myself because nobody can unscramble my brain.
Yeah.
And Sam Wilson's like Cap's right-hand man who does whatever Cap does. So, I mean, whichever road Marvel decides to choose to carry the Captain America shield, you know, those options are currently open for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bucky freezing himself so he's laying dormant. Like, what are you going to do with him now? Nothing. You should just kill him
exactly.
off. But... I mean, not to say that the movie should have been like the comic, but in the comic, somebody dies, and that sort of gives it some heft, some weight to the battle. It means that, you know, there's casualties, that there's It's not just a sexy pillow fight in a desolated airport. You know, there's real stakes here. So that's why I felt like
you said sexy pillow fight. All I pictured was like in Family Guy where they make fun of Star Wars, and then the stormtroopers had the pillow fight on Endor.
Exactly.
And they leave their helmets on. So I'm picturing Captain America and Tony Stark with their helmets on, just in their 90s, slapping around pillows.
Maybe Iron Man has some iron curlers in or something.
Thanks for that image.
Of the fights, I mean, the airport one's nice because you get the sense that they're friends, but yet they're still fighting about something.
Right.
But then even with that final battle where it's like, it's hard to watch. I don't mean it's a bad fight. I mean, like, they've built up this relationship, unlike the other movies, where they built up this relationship where the fight between the two main heroes, it has heft to it.
Right.
And like, it's hard to watch because you don't want these guys to fight. And then not having somebody die, it's like, where's the result of this?
Right.
Again, it's a sexy pillow fight with no consequences.
And I honestly thought when it happened that Rhodey was going to die.
I don't know why he didn't.
When he got hit out of the sky from Vision's beam and fell, my first thought was like, oh, Tony Stark's going to save him. He's going to fly down and catch him, blah, blah, blah. When he doesn't, when he just crashes to Earth, I was like, ooh, maybe this is the death. Because, you know, as you mentioned, there was one in the comic that had added some heft and some, you know, emotion to it. And I thought, you know, maybe this is it. Maybe this is Marvel killing off a character to kind of help everyone realize the gravity of the situation. But then, you know, 20 minutes later, Rhodey's walking around in a fancy iron brace thing.
Yeah, I mean the thing, the second I saw that, I thought, okay, Rhodey's gonna die. It's gonna advance the story. But
But like
Him-
out of the characters, it would kind of make sense for him to die.
right. Well, he even brings it up later. He says, "I know what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Every mission I flew, I knew what the risk was."
Right.
I mean, like if he would have said that before, then it definitely would have made sense for him to get killed in during the battle. But even with what happened to him, it's like, can't Tony Stark just make a suit or something? I mean, he did sort of. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. It seems like there's a fix for that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what happened to him isn't devastating. It's just
Right. But he was
could have done more.
back up and cracking jokes in a matter of no time, it seemed.
right.
But
Right. Thanks to Stan Lee. Stankley? What?
Tony Stank.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
this
pretty
is Tony Stank.
good. They're gonna have to just start putting Stan Lee in with like the weird DH CGI.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
so that it's like 20 years down the road, Stanley doesn't have to show up, and he's like 110. He's like, "Hey, that true believer's still here. Deliver the mail."
I would not put it past him though to still be in it.
Yeah, it's true. Somewhere. It's like the Where's Waldo. It's Where's Stan.
Yeah.
I had another article. Oh, apparently, I heard this through the grapevine at the comic store. So, grain of salt. Here's me pinching a grain of salt. A pinch? What's a pinch? In joke. Apparently,
All right, Vision.
Apparently there were three. He was awesome in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently there were three
wait, quick
scenes filmed.
Quick
Apparently.
Vision tangent.
Okay,
I love
put
that.
a pin in that.
I love that he was wearing like normal human clothes, like the sweater vest.
Oh God, he looked like a Land's End catalog. It was ridiculous.
I thought it was hilarious. Like I thought it was like he wasn't wearing like his cape and whatever he wasn't wearing in Age of Ultron. He was just wearing, like you said, a Land's End catalog sweater vest. He was trying to cook. I just thought that was great. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that was, I don't know. I have no comment for that. Anyway, apparently they filmed 3 death scenes. I mean, I would imagine maybe one's Bucky, maybe one's Rhodes, and then maybe the third one, maybe it was Tony Stark, because when Captain America throws that shield into his armor, he does that, with a lot of gusto.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but at the same time, it's like, maybe you just, take care of things.
Yeah. And let's see.
So theorizing back to nobody dying versus somebody dying, I'm theorizing that if you kill off a character, then much like in the comic, Captain America gives up because he doesn't want the fight to go on, because he doesn't want more superhero casualties.
Well, and in the comic too, it's not necessarily. I mean, that's part of it. But in the comic too, when he's fighting Iron Man and I believe winning, civilians come in and kind of interfere. Is that right?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Hold on, I have it. I have
it queued up
somewhere behind me. Hold on, one second.
In the library.
Yeah.
Get the giant ladder with the wheels on it and swing over. Got it.
All right, I got it here. Let's just skip to the back here real quick.
Did you reread it before you saw it?
I did, and I kind of wish I wouldn't have.
I kind of wish I would have.
So here
I didn't.
Yeah, so Captain America and Iron Man are fighting. Captain America is about to kill Tony Stark. Right as he's about to, a bunch of civilians interfere, kind of grab Captain America, defending Tony Stark. And Captain America kind of realizes, like, this is what the people want. And then that's when he kind of, resolves his inner dispute and, goes into arrest.
Takes his toys and goes home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You can't do Cap giving up, because then you don't have the Secret Avengers at the end.
Right.
Which, however, that's going to pay off. I mean, Secret Avengers, that'd be kind of cool.
That's
a thing. That's a thing.
Going back to the death rumors. So I found an article online. Now, this was from January. Apparently, there were 4 death scenes filmed for Captain America Civil War. One was Captain America himself.
Well, that's staying true to the... Did it say who by whose hand?
No, it doesn't.
It just says that there's... Okay.
I'd
I'd imagine it's during the fight.
No, it does. It doesn't say. So one is Captain America. The second is Rhodey, as we almost saw. Third was Sam Wilson, Falcon. And
That's a curveball.
The fourth was Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
That, whoa. I don't get those two.
So I'm not. It doesn't really give any other reason or anything like that. But yeah, that's just what the rumors were. And they do mention about how if Captain America does die, Bucky Barnes would be the one to take up the shield. Between him and Sam.
I don't feel like he's as big of a draw. Like he's a great I don't want to say sidekick. I don't know. Supporting actor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him being like I don't see Marvel pushing him to be the big star.
You don't think so?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I feel like they think Chris Evans is sort of their golden goose.
Well, yeah, and that I can see that too.
You can't kill Falcon. I like Anthony Mackie.
What did you think of Red Wing Red?
Well, I mean, that's a good wink and a nod.
Yeah.
I mean, Red Wing's a thing.
Right.
It's a bird. It's not a drone.
Right.
But,
And
I mean, that was kind of cool.
I was okay with that as a drone. I was okay with that.
Yeah, you can't go down that road of giving Sam Wilson the ability to telepathically link with birds. I mean, that's getting into the comic book foofery again that I don't think people are going to... Mainstream audience isn't going to sit with that.
Right, because when we meet Sam Wilson in Winter Soldier, he's just an army veteran. That's it.
Right. I like that for the screen better.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's a better fit. The romance, the forced romance between Cap and Sharon Carter,
Ugh.
that was dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every movie we have to just like put these two people in a closet and hope they kiss or something.
Yeah. I could have done without that.
That was dumb.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Hawkeye unretiring so quickly?
Hawkeye.
I know he's not a character really anybody cares that much about. I honestly would have been fine if he wasn't in it, but you knew he was going to be.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't really like previous movie Hawkeye. I don't know. He feels like too much overlap with Cap, like the perfect soldier. Here he was almost like the wisecracking crack shot.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they've sort of separated the two slices on the superhero Venn diagram so that they're more distinct between Hawkeye and Cap. Because I mean, comics Hawkeye, he's like a smart ass crook.
Yeah.
Who just backslid into being an Avenger. But now it's kind of, I mean, the movie, I like the movie Hawkeye was like Ultimate Hawkeye, again, perfect soldier. But I mean, I don't, we've already got that with Cap.
Yeah.
Like just separate them out, make them distinct. That's why I liked this Hawkeye a little better. But even still, it's like, I don't know. He seems like we have the greatest soldier who ever lived, the greatest living weapon, people that can essentially like have telekinesis and these superpowers, and then a guy who shoots a bow and arrow. It's like,
but who shoots it really well.
Well, sure. We have a Norse god. We have a walking atom bomb.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a guy who shoots arrows.
So in the comics, when Civil War takes place, is Thor back in Asgard?
No, because Thor is dead.
Oh, right.
That's where we get the fake Thor.
Okay.
Which, when I read Civil War the first time, I didn't have the context.
Right. Yeah, I didn't catch that either. Yeah, I forgot about the clone Thor in the comic book Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, it's Thor and Hulk teaming up, buddies on the run, and whatever the hell they do next.
Thor and Hawk. Thor and Hulk. I could see him doing like a cop comedy.
Exactly.
A cop buddy, kind of like a Rush Hour, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Like you scratch Bruce Banner's car and he gets mad and turns into the Hulk.
Never touch the Green Man's radio.
Bruce, we got a hostage situation. Man, I'm not really mad. I took the last donut.
We're out of Hot Pockets.
I was saving that. This clearly says Bruce's food.
So in the comic, then, where is Hulk during Civil War? I mean, as we know from Age of Ultron, he's hopped on a Quinjet and just kind of disappeared somewhere. But in the is he?
Don't know. That's not Planet Hulk, is it?
I thought it was Planet Hulk.
It might be.
Anyway, he's not there.
Yeah, he's not there.
So which side would Hulk have been on, do you think? If he was there. And Thor.
Register, don't register. Probably Cap, because
Both of them?
pretty much everybody who's with Iron Man is out in the open identity-wise, which they did that in the comic, which was probably the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was...
When Spider-Man outs himself.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the Spider-Man thing in the like how they were going to, or if they were going to do anything with that in the film. But as you mentioned in the comic book, Spider-Man reveals his true identity. J. Jonah Jameson passes out because he can't believe it's Peter Parker.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a menace. But
Yeah,
also,
I'm pretty sure Planet Hulk was the same time.
Okay. But also in the comic, Spider-Man actually defects to Cap's side.
Well,
At a later point.
after Tony Stark made you a suit, how dare you? I mean, he did in the movie too. I mean, not the Iron Spider, but
Yeah.
better than whatever the hell he was wearing before.
So what's going on with the end credit with Spider-Man?
I don't know. That was
I mean, it's basically
weird.
just to promote the Homecoming movie.
right. They should have done something with the villain, which I don't even know if they have a villain yet. Just something that was related to the story, not Spider-Man has the spider signal on his spider watch. They should have had the spider buggy. That's a thing. That's a thing.
What's the spider buggy?
It's literally a buggy that's got Spider-Man's face on it.
Like buggy as like a car?
Like a
Like a dune buggy?
yes. Yes, that's actually
All
it.
right. I did not
Spider
know that.
buggy. It's a yeah.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
That's all it is.
In the rules of continuity, it's a thing.
Yeah. So what else around the film? Do you have any
Streaky
more
the Super Cat.
quiblets?
No. I mean, it was real basic. It's just like a lot of it was being a Marvel person. It's kind of like things I wish they would have done. And this movie also felt the most like a comic book in the sense that they do a lot of the things like, hey, remember that time I did this thing in another movie? Mm-hmm. Like in a comic book, it would have the little box with the asterisk that says "see issue," blah blah blah. Like Steve Rogers says, "Remember when I was trapped on ice? Remember this thing that happened? Remember this thing that happened?" It's like this is probably the least accessible if you haven't seen other movies. Everything else you can just kind of jump right into.
Right. I mean, this one even that where they meet with who's the political guy that they meet with,
Thunderbolt Ross?
Secretary of State or whatever.
Yeah.
When he's showing them the footage, which is from the other movies, I was like, oh, this is a great way for someone who may not have seen all of them to realize that there was tons of destruction.
Sure.
And then my favorite was after her Sokovia, which was, the most recent destruction. Cap was like, turn it off. And I was like, I was like, good, because there wasn't anything after that except for the beginning of Civil War.
He should have said that. He said, well, that's great because that's all we have anyway. Like he clicks the carousel to the slideshow and like, that's it. It's like him smoking a cigar in a barbecue or something.
Yeah.
Well, that guy himself's from another movie. So if you haven't seen the Hulk, then you're not going to know who that is.
Which Hulk? The Ed Norton or the Dave?
No, don't even say it. That's Edward Norton's the only one that counts.
Okay, all right. Not Eric Bana?
No.
Okay. Which one came out first?
The Banya. I mean, that was like 2000.
Okay. Well, because they made them right after. Like made one and then made one immediately after, didn't they? They were pretty close to back. Because I was like, oh, they're making another Hulk movie already after this one was just released.
Hulk was 2003. Incredible Hulk might have been 2008.
It was 5 years apart.
Yeah. I mean, Incredible Hulk was after Iron Man.
Huh.
And Hulk was wherever that was compared to Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
No, the Eric Bana one doesn't count.
I don't know. I didn't see either of them, so.
Well, you're not missing.
That's the only Marvel movie I haven't seen.
You're not missing it.
Okay.
Hulk's a hard sell. Anyway,
He is. I mean, he doesn't say a whole lot.
he doesn't say a whole lot. You don't talk much, do you?
All he does is like destroy stuff.
Sexy pillow fights.
Yeah. So what happens next? So at the end of Civil War, Captain America breaks out his compatriots. They lay low
From
in
the Secret Avengers.
they
No, I'm just
lay low
kidding.
in Wakanda with Black Panther.
Do they?
Bucky is freezing himself for whatever reason. So what's the next step?
What is next?
I was gonna say, what's the next movie that's not a kind of solo film? Let's take a look here. Because Inhumans has been shelved. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's whatever. It's not the timeline I wanted. It's like they're giving me like a chronology of like things that happen in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
So we have Doctor Strange in November, Guardians of the Galaxy
That's
2
right.
next year, Spider-Man next year, Thor is next year,
Oh, I don't know. I don't
Black
know.
Panther in 2018, and then the next quote unquote, Avengers movie is Infinity War Part 1 in 2018.
I don't know. I mean, do they even show up? I mean, you've already sowed the seeds for Claw from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could come to fruition in Black Panther. I mean, Spider-Man. I don't know that you're going to have the cast of characters. Same
Right.
with Thor.
Well,
You've already got Buddy called Thorsky and Hutch, or Thorsky and Hulk.
that I would watch that. I heard a rumor that Iron Man was going to appear in, was it Spider-Man or Black Panther? One of those two films, Iron Man is set to appear. But
I feel
But, like,
I
where-
feel like it's Spider-Man.
where Civil War ends, with the two sides still kind of split and Captain America and his friends kind of just laying low, like when do they come back? When do they make their entrance? How do they resolve the issue that they're in right now?
Well, that's to answer that question with another question. How many gems are left? There's
Two gems left.
so Doctor Strange will have one of the gems, and I guess Black Panther has the other, or Thor Ragnarok. I don't know.
I mean, do the Thor movies get two gems dedicated to it?
No, they'll definitely get. Oh, that's true. They already had one.
They had the what's the red one?
They had the Mind Gem. That's what Loki had. Or wait, they're called Infinity Stone. Just call them the gems.
Well, what was the one in
let's call a spade a spade. Let's go.
what's the one in the second Thor movie, Dark World? The red.
The
It was like the ether and
Space Gem.
it sounds like you're just making this up.
No, it's space. I'm gonna say this off memory, even though I have the wiki page up. It's space. It's Mind Gem, the Time Gem, the Space Gem, the Reality Gem, the Power Gem, the Soul Gem.
All right, I trust you.
The Soul Gem. This is stupid.
So what? There is 4 that have been revealed. Is that right?
Right, we've got the Space Gem was the Tesseract. The Mind Stone is what Loki had in his scepter. The Reality Stone is what Malekith had in Thor: Dark World, and then the Power Stone is what Ronan was thirsting after from Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
So
missing the Soul Gem and the Time Gem.
okay.
Well, one of those has to be in Doctor Strange. Probably the Soul Gem.
Now, does perhaps the 6th one appear in Infinity War Part 1?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends because they are going to rename those movies, so it's not going to be Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, whatever they rename them to. I don't know. I don't know if they get the wheels on the ground before Infinity War or during Infinity War or whatever that movie. The next team up.
Yeah.
Voltron. They might as well just call Voltron. Let's Voltron up and fight Thanos. Because he's got the Infinity Stones. Gems? No. Different.
So
These are stones, not gems.
so speaking of Thanos,
We're not going to bedazzle a gauntlet with gems. We're going to bedazzle it with stones.
Exactly.
It's like a gauntlet. It's like a garden glove.
Speaking of
This is how I tend my farm with these gloves.
So speaking of Thanos, we haven't seen him in any post credits since Guardians. Is that correct? If I remember.
What was the Guardians one?
Well, he appeared in Guardians, didn't he?
Right.
But I'm pretty sure the post credits had him in it as well.
No, the post credits was Howard the Duck.
Oh, right. Okay. But Thanos did appear briefly in Guardians of the Galaxy in the regular feature length film.
As you do.
So we have not seen him in the last 3 films. I'm guessing we probably don't see him in Doctor Strange.
No.
I mean, the only thing would be if it is like an end credit thing.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, they've got their hands full with the origin and all the
Yeah.
riffraff that follows. That if it's going to be either end credit or bust.
Yeah, and most likely he would appear in some form, I would think, in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
That's true.
So
That's true. So Doctor Strange will get a gem. I don't know that they'll put one in Spider-Man unless like Spider-Man says, "Oh no, I have to go back in time and win the Powerball. Thank God I have this Infinity Gem."
but can you imagine?
Diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo. Hey Aunt May, we don't have to live in this shitty Queen's apartment. Yay!
Hey, Aunt May, I can afford the plastic
hot
surgery
Aunt
you
May.
want. Well, okay, so how old is Spider-Man supposed to be? Like 15, 16?
I have the time gem. Do you hear that, Aunt May? Is that your stomp, stomp, stomp biological clock ticking? They're not going to go that far. It'd be funny if they did though. How old is Aunt May? I don't know.
No.
I mean, probably how old?
Spider-Man.
Oh, 15, 16?
Okay.
And he's using that piece of shit Apple II or whatever that he fished out of the dump. Like you can't get.
Hey,
like,
that's
something
worth something nowadays.
I was gonna say you can't get something like you can't trade that for something that's got some power to it that doesn't run on disk.
He likes to rebuild things. Tony Stark appreciates that.
It's like, hey, can you give me Oregon Trail? I have an Apple II.
I would kill for Oregon Trail.
Yeah, that's true. I would too.
Not this like new mobile game version, but like the version
that.
we played in elementary school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Monochrome colors.
You can move 4 directions to shoot stuff.
Spider-Man has died of dysentery.
That was such a
Do
great
you
game.
ford the wagon to get the Infinity Gems? Your wagon has flooded. You have lost all the Infinity Gems.
All right, let's
Time gem. Don't make that decision. Anyway,
let's go back. Any final remarks on Civil War?
any final remarks?
Anything you want to
Not-
talk about that we haven't covered?
Better than BVS. That movie sucks.
I still haven't seen it, so
Yeah, it's not worth
Yeah.
it. I think it was succinctly summarized as Civil War is not the best movie that Marvel has made. That's still Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
But Civil War is the best Marvel movie, if that distinction makes sense, because I think it does.
as an overall entity,
Well, I mean, it's the most like a comic book.
yeah.
So that's what I mean in the sense that, I mean, I didn't make that up. I read it somewhere, so I'm not going to claim that I made it. But it's the best Marvel movie in the sense that it's sort of the truest movie to the source material. Like, it felt like a comic book.
It did. It didn't feel like the Civil War comic book.
Well, I mean, it did and it didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in a comic book sense, it felt like a comic book.
Right.
My biggest thing is, and I knew going in that when they announced the film that it was going to be nearly next to impossible for them to even try to stick to the source material of the comics. But there's
Right. I mean, they put the raft in the middle of the ocean, so the negative zone. Get out.
Right.
Put it in the negative
well,
zone. Quit
and
farting around.
and obviously too,
Quit pussyfooting around.
and obviously too, because of rights issues, they couldn't include the Fantastic Four, which had a big part in the Civil War comic.
Just call it the positive zone then. Done. It's not the negative zone, it's the positive zone. It's the neutral zone.
But
neutral zone infraction. Wrong podcast.
Yeah, that's coming up in a few months. Save your horses for that. But in the comic, Dr. Richard Reed and Susan Storm,
Reed Richards.
Reed Rich. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Richard Reed. That's a totally different character.
The guy that stretches. That guy.
They should just do that. Hi, this is Dr. Richard Reed. He's a physicist. I totally don't stretch.
This is Elastic Man.
We call him Stretch for short. Why? Nobody knows. It's a nickname. It's not supposed to make sense.
But in that comic, they have this they're on different sides of it. Dr. Reed Richards.
Dr. Reed.
Richards.
I was breathing. That's why I didn't say the whole thing in one time.
He's with Tony Stark, so he's helping Tony try to figure out a way to resolve everything. Meanwhile, Susan Storm is seeing what's going on with all the superheroes they're trying to arrest who are against the Registration Act. That leads to them splitting up, and that caused kind of like a big rift and kind of adds a little more weight to the comic too. Which obviously, like I said, they can't do in the film because they don't have the rights to Fantastic Four, but they should probably try to get those back.
I don't disagree.
Because 20th Century Fox not doing such a bang-up job.
No, they're using the rights to Fantastic Four to like prop up tables and hold open doors. Maybe like a bookmark or something. What is this? It's holding my place in here.
Wait. I gotta write this phone number down. Where's a piece of scratch paper? Oh, okay. Here we go. This will work.
I just wrote on the back of the rights to the Fantastic Four. Yeah, but I mean, it's already a chock full. What was it, like 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
They could have even made it shorter, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd say Civil War, it's fighting for a spot in top 3. If I had to assign it like a letter grade, I'd say, I don't know. It's like in that nebulous between A- and A.
Okay. So an A half minus.
A half minus.
All right. Yeah, I'd give it a solid A for sure. I liked it. I like the characters. I like Black Panther a lot. I'm looking forward to his film.
Yep.
And the second issue of his new comic run just came out today. So gonna go
today. Why today?
Huh?
I jest.
It's New Comic Book Day.
I know. Well, I've already been there.
What'd you pick up today?
Batman action. Is actually pretty light this week. I was kind of glad.
What's light for you?
A handful.
How many is a handful?
Like a handful. Literally a handful.
Okay.
No, not like a handful. Like I hold them in my hands and they're full. Like you count on your hands.
Okay. All right, I got you.
Not like that weird Baker's dozen. You get it. Handful. That's a light week.
All right.
I was glad.
All right. So both enjoyed Civil War. Both gave it A/A minuses, or some sort of in between.
Yeah.
So which Marvel movie are you most looking forward to that's coming out over the next we'll say the next year or two? Just as a recap, we have Doctor Strange this year, Guardians, Spider-Man, and Thor next year, Black Panther the following year.
I feel like the Guardians, Spider-Man, Black Panther, I know what to expect, and it's more like I'm excited because I think they'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, I don't think they can do the late 70s acid trip, bright colors kind of aesthetic. That's why they instead chose to do Inception. So I'm excited to see Doctor Strange to see what they do.
Yeah. Are you reading the current Doctor Strange or no?
No, it's beyond. It's outside of the magnetic pull of all the crap that I read.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in Doctor Strange too. I've been keeping up with the comic. The new version. I've never read any of the older stuff, but
will he wield an axe? That's the question.
No,
I'm gonna say no.
I don't know. In the book I'm reading, he's got a sword, so
oh
yeah,
swashbuckler.
Yeah, so maybe he'll stick with that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it as well. That comes out November, I believe. I think.
I'll trust you.
I'm also excited for Guardians just because the last one was fun. I think this one will be fun.
Sure.
Good cast, good crew.
Yep.
Who do we know? I guess we don't know who the villain is in Guardians, do we?
Howard the Duck. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
It's Comet the Space Dog.
Yeah. Cosmic.
Well,
or Cosmo.
Cosmo. He's a cosmonaut dog.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Not the dog from Full House.
Not the. Oh, Lord. Or Fuller
or
House.
or the great grand puppy of Fuller House. All right.
Oh, Lord.
All right. That should do it for Civil War. I think we've talked about everything we wanted to talk about. If we didn't, we'll bring it up again in the future, I'm sure. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
No, we'll come to blows about it.
All right. We'll have
F you, Dr. Thunder.
we'll have our own
Civil War.
We'll have our own Civil War about Civil War.
Ecto Cooler. No. Orange Lava Burst. Civil War.
Dun, dun, dun. But as always, check us out online at www.entertainmentbuddha.com. Follow us on Twitter at @EntBuddha and on Instagram as well. Just go to the site. Everything is there. Lots of new stuff. Got some new writers. So look forward to seeing what they have coming in the next week or two. And that will do it for this podcast. Justin, you want to take us out?
Bedazzled Infinity Glovelet. They should update it, make it more fashionable. I don't want yellow. I want something that's more, I don't know, more appealing.
Plus one of
functional.
the Infinity Gems is yellow.
Yeah.
So it's yellow on yellow.
It's like you have one on each finger and then you have the one in the middle.
It should just mean
Like, how do you decide? Is it like having a favorite child? Which gem goes in the middle?
It should just make the gauntlet black. The gems will really pop.